Yeah, bridging the gap. Nyomi Banks, the goddess. Tune in. Hey yo, Black, where we at? Elements. Got a problem? What's the issue? Ask Nyomi for advice, she will bless you. Is it sex, love, or relationships? If your spirits are down, you can get a daily uplift. Just listen every word that she speaks. Setting trends with hashtags for every day of the week. Hashtag motivational Mondays, testimonial Tuesdays. I've been listening for the last 2 days. Wet Willie or Wisdom Wednesdays. Either way, the conversation gon' be lengthy. It's not hearsay, this is her way. You know she'll keep you thirst trapping on a Thursday. 4 days down, I'll talk about the number 5 day. Never coy, she always keeps it freaky on Fridays. Spiritual on Saturdays with sessions in the morning. Still uplifting and inspiring you all in. Being the goddess that she is, she keeps you all in. Formed on soul searching Sundays, just call in. If you
All right, it's your girl, the goddess Nyomi Banks, and welcome to another episode of Ask Nyomi Bridging the Gap podcast, where we talk about love, sex, relationship, culture differences, and so much more, while bridging the gap between them all and teaching the world on sex, language, and attitude, and spiritual uplifting. What is going on, my BTG crew? As well as Dog Pound Mike. What's going on, baby?
What's happening? What's happening?
All right, so we are in a whole new space. So if you guys see, we rocking the gold, the black, and the white. We rocking that. That is for now on our colors with a little dash of red and pink in there. But that's our colors right now. And what did we say the past 2 weeks? We've been saying what? Hashtag elevation. Can I hear everybody say hashtag elevation?
Hashtag elevation. Hashtag
elevation. All right, so this month I am so excited for this month because not only is it our 1 year anniversary for Ask Nyomi Bridging the Gap podcast, but also we have a jam-packed month full of amazing guests. And one of my people, like a brother to me, like I met him in the industry, actually like right before I got into the industry. But what I want to do is I want to take a quick break before I introduce him and bring him here, because every time we have a good time, really, like he is the 1/3 of Chocolate Radio, the live show. And that's Mr. Alexander DeVoe. But I want to give him a good intro. So what I'm going to do is we're going to break real quick, and then we're going to come back. And then we'll have this nice conversation form. But remember, my BTG crew, we got to keep it sexy up in here. We got to be nice, all right? All right, it's your girl, the goddess Nyomi Banks, here on Ask Nyomi Bridging the Gap. Let's go.
Hey, my sexy people, it's your girl, the goddess Nyomi Banks. And I finally did it. I've written my first book. Well, actually, it's a living journal. It's called Good Morning, My Sexy People, where I share my stories in different posts, but help a healing workbook for you. So it's 90 days to kick off your healing living journey. Pre-purchase now. Go to AskNyomi.com and hit shop. Listen.
Alexa. I want to play for so long.
I need to tell you. I want to tell you. Unless you talking numbers, we ain't speaking about the right things. Switch up on my nigga for a figure, that's not like me. Baddie with a body in the lobby, she like nice things. She used to know me then, she like me now, that's funny timing. Eyes been on that prize, I cop that crib for that time.
Hey, my sexy people, this is your girl, the goddess Nyomi Banks, and I just wanted to talk about something a little serious real quick. Right now in this world, sex trafficking is at an all-time high. And I want you ladies to be especially aware when you are out and pay attention to certain things. Now, there's a list of things right here that is going around social media, and I just wanted to pay special attention to it and just share it with you. So as I always say, always keep it sexy, but always be safe.
All right, it's your girl, the goddess Nyomi Banks, and welcome back. All right, Dr. Mike, what's going on, baby?
It's all good. It's all good.
All right, so we in a new space.
You did your thing in here.
Why, thank you. Why, thank you. So I had to put on the hat to match.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to call this, I had a name when we was upstairs. When I was upstairs putting it on, because it reminded me of that Sally. Remember Sally Raphael? So let me show y'all something. Hold on, where I got it. So I'm for real. I'm for real. So I have my Sally Raphael glasses on. Y'all see that?
Wow.
Yeah, like these are my reading glasses, so I really can't see with them on. So let me take them off. Not with that, with my contacts on. I can't see the boat like that.
You look like a teacher.
I look like a teacher.
And I would never miss class.
You would never miss class. And you would never miss class. All right, as I was saying before the break, I welcome everybody, and everybody that is here new. Thank you for coming in here to Ask Nyomi Bridge the Gap podcast. We are celebrating our 1 year anniversary here at Ask Nyomi Bridge the Gap podcast. This is one of the newer entertainment productions that we are doing up under the umbrella of NBX Productions, and that's Common Productions. So I thank you so much. This guest right here that is coming on to help us kick off this anniversary. And I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna be very honest, because when we talked about bringing chocolate radio back a few years ago when we moved, of course we wanted to make sure that we do it with this young man, because when we ended it on a high. We truly ended chocolate radio on a high. So he was like the 1/3 of our chocolate radio. It's myself, Dog Pound Mike, and I'm the man that knows all, Mr. Alexander DeVoe. But not only does he know it all, but he is a multi-award-winning director, entrepreneur. He is a creative director for Urban X Award. And he is one of my dearest friends. He might make my ass hurt. But he is one of my dearest friends. And I'm going to open it up and introduce him, Mr. Alexander DeVoe. What's going on, baby? Oh, we can't hear you, baby. No, we can't hear you.
It might come.
No, we can't hear you right now. But I like the haircut. I like all of that that's going on. I like the goatee, the two. I mean, we kind of matching right here with the black and the blonde. Can you hear me? Yeah, I can't hear you at all. And I know we don't have him for a long time today, because he actually did have something else that he had going on. So we was going to have him for a short time. But we definitely gonna have him back.
Mm-hmm. He working it out.
Yeah, he working it out. All right, so while he's working it out right now, I want to go over to the comments real fast. And I want to just shout out everybody over there at the comments. Hey, I see Jules, Joseph, Charmaine, how you doing, baby? I see all of you over there while Dog Pound Mike is getting everything technically together. And remember, guys, we moved to another location, so we literally had to take everything down, break everything down, and bring it into another space. So be patient with us as we are moving into another dimension, as we call it. Yeah, I see Mr. Markman. What's going on, baby? Like I said before, we are elevating. It might not feel like that today, because we are.
Hello?
There you go.
Oh yeah, I had to figure this out, man. I'm like pushing all these buttons and stuff. Like what?
You're high tech over there.
So what's going on, Mr. Alexander DeVoe?
I look light skinned, like with all this
You
snow
look
going
light
on out
skinned.
here in LA. What's up?
What is
You
going
looking-
on?
You looking like all yellow and not chocolatey. Like what you been up? Like you in Vegas? You ain't got no sun.
Baby,
You
it's
looking
the
yellow
glow.
and
It's
creamy.
glow, baby. It's the glow. It's the glow up. It's the glow. It's the
Shea
golden.
butter.
Yes, it's
Shea
the
butter.
golden goddess.
You definitely are gold. It's been a minute.
Yes, it has. And thank you for coming on and joining us here. I don't know if you heard before, we were talking about how you were 1/3 of Chocolate Radio, the live show. You know,
I still have a lot of those episodes like on my phone or whatever. Like, I remember when you were talking about how you don't like your feet touched or whatever. Like,
no, I don't.
Each episode was like a new. I was learning new stuff about you, discovering new things about Nyomi Banks that I did not know.
Yeah,
so it was always fun.
Yeah, it was. We had a good time. Like, we were talking about, what was it? A few months ago. It was a few months ago. We were talking about when you first came on as a guest. And you told us this little secret. And I don't know if we told us a little secret about this little valve that you had full of something that you put in the refrigerator, in a freezer. Do you remember that, Mike?
Oh yeah, I remember.
What you talking about? Some pee? Like pee in the bottle? Pissing in the bottle?
Yes. And putting it in the freezer.
I don't remember putting it in the freezer, but peeing in bottles is like one of my things that I do for some reason. I've been doing that since I was a little kid. Like pissing in activator. You don't remember like the old school like activator, like you put in the thing. Like we used to make that back in the day. So you get like glycerin and you use conditioner. So I always like peeing in bottles. So one time I just peed in this bottle and put it on top of my bed, and then my mom came in and she was just like, just spray. She just made it like making her shit just like soul glow, whatever. It was like dripping. And then she said, I just started smelling piss. And I was just like, and I just like busted up. I started busting up laughing. I was like, you know what? Don't be just like getting into my activator. You know what I'm saying?
Oh hell no!
I'm gonna tell you this funny story. Okay, so one day.
Wait a minute. Wait. Let me ask you this question first, because you have to. Why peeing in the church? Like, what is that?
Why peeing in bottles?
Yes. Why are you doing that? What's it?
Because I can. Like, because I have a dingling. I can pee in a bottle. No, I just always had this. I don't know if I was lazy or whatever. Because when I was a baby, right? Like we try to like get potty trained or whatever. Like I never like peed in I would never pee in like the diaper. I would always get out of bed as a baby, take my diaper off, and just like pee on the floor. Like that was my thing, peeing on the floor. So, which brings me to the story, right? So, LA got all this traffic. Sometimes you're in traffic, like you can't, you gotta use it. So whatever. Like I always keep like a bottle in the car. So one day I had this cup, and I had been drinking something, and then I was like, "Fuck, I gotta pee." So I ended up pissing in this cup, and then I forgot. So maybe like 45 minutes later, my throat is parched or whatever. So I just reached down, like, start sucking on this straw. I started sucking on this straw. And then just like my mom, like she's smelling shit, I started tasting shit. I was like, what the fuck? So I just consumed some of my own urine.
Wow.
Oh,
some stories you don't have to tell.
I mean, that's a good story, though.
It
like
sure
you ain't never
is.
drank no piss before. Come on, man.
No.
No, I didn't know it was a delicacy.
I'm the only one.
Yeah, well, at least of the three of us, yes.
Wait, come on, like you squirt, don't you?
But I ain't tasted.
I mean, that's I don't know.
Well, you know what? Let me take that back. Let me take that back. With Jada, let me take that back. Did a thing with Jada, and I don't know if it was piss or if it was water, but
that was water though. So it was yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just being honest. But no, knowingly tasting, no, I wasn't in no bottles.
I mean, it wasn't like I was just like putting some sugar and ice in it and just like drinking it. But I've done that to people before. I've made lemonade out of pee before, like had people drinking.
All right.
All right.
All right.
I see that's not the thing, but anyway, yeah.
Right. So let's go. So let me say this because you've been and I don't want to say you retired because you're still in the industry and you're doing more things on the production side of things with the Urban X Awards. You're doing the creative director for that. So one thing is why I wanted you on, because I know you guys are coming back strong and hard this year as you guys are coming full blown with, the whole Urban X Awards with the full blown award show. So that's something that I want you to, tell everybody now. And also to let them know that they can come out to the event. They can come out to LA, that they can have that whole experience.
Urban X Weekend is back in full force. Like we're having the return of the in-person show. So Urban X Weekend is the 18th to the 20th, 2023. And the actual award show is taking place. We're returning to the Globe Theater, like in downtown LA. So that's like a full show. Like I'm doing something very unique and different, and no other show has ever done this. I can't reveal to you what it was. I have to wait until the 17th of April when we do the reveal. We're going to reveal like who the hosts are, but it's going to be something that nobody's ever seen before. And it's been since before the pandemic. The last show we had was 2019. And then going into pandemic, we shut down, and then we had like abbreviated versions of the show. So one year, like they had like the yacht cruise, and then last year we had like the separate Hall of Fame ceremony, and then we had a luau. So now we're coming back to the full formal version. So this is going to be ultra. So everybody has to dress up to their best they can present, because this is going to be like the ultra chic version of that.
Okay, so, hashtag elevation.
It seems to be the buzzword right now. Elevate. Everybody's elevating right now. Yeah. So I'm excited, and we started off pretty early. So March is like the push. So right now we're scheduling all the host shoots, and those shoots are going to be like high fashion, like editorial type of shoots.
Nice.
So I can give I can spill like a little bit of the tea. There's 3 groups, and that's all I'm gonna say. And each one of those 3 groups has very distinct and different looks and feels. Like the personality is gonna be different, but the visuals are gonna be amazing.
I'm excited for it. I guess because I really want to know. I really want to let fans know, because it's one thing is that you have a lot of fans ask for when how can we get to the Urban X? How can we do this? How can we do that? And where can we, find it at? I know, was it last year or year before last? I know that Urban X IG page had got hacked. So if you can do me a favor right now and give that new Urban X.
The Urban X Awards on Instagram is the Urban X Awards. So we're kind of like rebranding everything to include the "the" in it. And it's kind of unfortunate because, that page has been up for a while. Yeah. And then, some dude just hit us with a, whatever you call it, that phishing type stuff, and then it was a wrap. And you can't the thing about it is like once once your Instagram account gets hacked, you just might as well kiss it goodbye, because you can't never get it back. And knowing that you're the authentic person, like somebody can come in and take that from you is kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
But we're back and I'm rebuilding the page like slowly, but because of the algorithms, I guess now it just takes a little bit longer to build back the presence. So I'm still actively in there, like making posts, like tagging them with the Urban X Awards. So people, make sure y'all go to the Urban X Awards on Instagram. The Twitter's still the same. It's still Urban X Awards, and then the site is urbanxawards.com. And we're actually revamping that site. So if you go there now, in a couple weeks, maybe in a couple weeks, we're going to start the submission period. So people will be able to go onto that site, submit for your categories, and then start pushing to have your fans start voting for you.
Okay, nice. All right. All right. I don't know if they're gonna have a podcast one this year, because I didn't even know that ABN was having a podcast.
We're opening it up to podcasts as well. So
okay, nice.
Ask Nyomi can put yourself in there for submission for favorite podcasts as well.
That's what.
And then to speak it of things that are new too. since content creators are kind of like the buzzword and that term is kind of trending, we're also adding content creator categories to Urban X Awards as well too.
Yeah.
So we did that kind of like we did a little bit last year for the like a soft reveal for the scaled down version, but this year there's going to be way more categories for people who are consistent with the content creator world, like to go in and then submit your stuff to those different categories.
Right, I'm excited. I'm excited for that. All right, so now I don't know. Can I say this? I mean, I know you've been doing your entrepreneur thing, and you know, I got a pair of your earbuds, and I'm still waiting for you to officially launch it. You know, you got a whole lot of things going on with your entrepreneur, your luxury style
Yeah,
thing.
I do.
Do you
Like,
want
this
to
is
just
like-
want to touch on it a little bit?
I'm gonna just scratch the surface because I don't want to like throw everything out there while I'm still. It's kind of like it's not a work in progress, but I've been working on some things for about a year and a half, and that's the sunglasses.
Okay.
And basically, you know, I'm doing what a lot of the major brands do is just like finding the cool Chinese supplier and then working with them to develop the product. So I have like 5 different products that I'm going to kind of launch at the same time. So one of those is a fragrance. So I have 2 fragrances that are coming out, and I've been working on the packaging, like the look and feel of the bottle. Like it took me a while to get to that point, maybe like 6 months, and deciding on which actual, you know, I have samples here, so I can reveal what the sample is going to look like, not like the finished product.
Okay.
So this is like the stuff that I kind of picked the bottle. I didn't make the top, but I made the pieces that go around it. So it's going to look like this. And then there's two versions of the bottle. So, you know, I always like to have, you know, a couple things on because I'm a Libra. Sometimes I can't decide on shit. So
Oh, really?
it's the 50. It's the 50. No, these are the 100 big top and then small top. And then there's a smaller version of this too. And it's going to have 2 versions too, like the smaller top.
Okay.
The bigger top, and then the smaller top that goes on top of it. So when it's all pretty and labeled up, like, you know,
Right.
I'm actually working. I just finished the design for the box, and I created like a luxury pattern. Like it took me 6 months to get the pattern right. So I finally got that the sample prototype for the box with the luxury pattern on it, and they're just getting ready to assemble that and then send me the sample so I can see what that looks like. So then I have like, you know, I like to you got the earbuds, and that was kind of like my second product that I was developing, because, you know, I'm kind of like an audiophile, like, because nobody knows this, but I sing and I'm really into music. So I thought, like, you know, what better way to immerse people in what it is that I'm doing than to have my own branded earbuds. So when they're listening to their spicy stuff, they can just plug those in, like cancel the noise, and then be fully immersed in to whatever they're indulging themselves in.
Right. You know what I thought I was going to hear you say is about you about to come out with an album or something like that. I thought that's what I heard
I'm
you
not gonna do
getting
that. I
ready to
did
say.
do
Like
I did it. Like I made music, but I never.
right. You know, so it's like, you know, you can't say I made music while you in dinner. Like,
Oh,
you
listen
know,
to this
can
though.
you hit me a
'Cause
little number?
I don't know if because people don't know this about me. Like my dad was actually signed to RCA Records before. They had like a group or whatever.
No.
But he went crazy, like for real. Like he went insane, and then and then that deal fell apart. But they got like they got signed, like the group got signed, and then when we were little, like my dad would make us rehearse till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, like every day, like especially during the summertime. So he'd have us in front of the mics, like going over dance routines and all that type of stuff. And that was the thing that kind of not made me motivated to want to be able to follow in his footsteps, because it was something that was forced upon me. So I had to get to the point where when I was in Hawaii, I met one of the Commodores lived out there, and then they had the studio, and I was hanging out with one of my friends at the studio, and then he took me under his wing, and then we started rehearsing and then laying down tracks, and I used to perform when I was in Hawaii.
So do you
That's
ever,
the part that I've never.
right?
like
Do you
shows,
ever see
like doing
yourself going
shows.
back to that?
I think eventually I will, because my daughter was just in the studio with one of these artists that's coming out, and they had to offer her like a chance to jump in and write in the studio and then be on a track. And she was like, "Nah, Dad." So yeah, it kind of filtered out to her too. She has a voice, but maybe one day that'll be one of the things that I do, like within this next year, since I'm trying to like make a semi full comeback all the way. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if I should do this. So you say a semi.
I know you said it, like you used to be in a group too, so
yeah, I did. Yeah, I was. Yeah, I did.
What, you about to reveal some music?
Homie, oh no. Mm-mm.
Oh, I see you digging this up there. What you digging up? Are you about to dig it? What you?
I'm not about to dig up no music now. Music is my first love, but I surpassed that. I'm no longer.
Oh, so what you about to show me?
No, I was getting ready to ask you a question, but I think I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna ask you.
No, go ahead. Ask me a question.
So let's go back. Let's backpedal a little bit, and let's go to the Alexander DeVoe brand as you are your artistry when it comes to the adult film.
Yeah.
With that, and I know you took a break for a little bit. Just for family, and you have a daughter that you're growing up, so you kind of want to be in that. So in that aspect, are you talking about coming back directing, or you come back in a more of a
okay? So here was my dilemma.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I had been running like basically 16 straight years. And that's only when I came back to LA. Like when I jumped into the commercial world, like the big league of adult, like it didn't stop. Like so in 2000, like 99, 2000, when I came from Hawaii, the minute we stepped off the plane that summer and then going into 2000, really, it was just nonstop. Like here, I'm going to do this. And then I was carrying my camera around, like people were telling me no. And then the thing that I came up with was like, I'm going to try to figure out like how people cannot say no. Like when I ask them, I have to create a reason for them to say yes. And that was just basically my motivation. Mm-hmm. So what I did was just like, I just humbled myself. Even if in my mind, I felt like, I've on the beaches of Hawaii is where this character was born, and the character was freak nasty. That's what I used to call myself. I had this red hair, like I had like a what do you call it? Shit where your hair is cut on the side.
A mohawk.
Bleach my hair. It wasn't like a mohawk. It was just like a fade, I guess. And then my hair was red, and I wore these red glasses, and I would do like on the spot. So when I did stuff, it was like these pickups we used to do outside, and my character's name was Freak Nasty. So when I look at it, it was just like corny, but I was kind of like experimenting and seeing who I was going to become like this person. So my inspiration, and I say this kind of like every time I get an opportunity to, was John Stalliano. And going when I was in college, I worked at an adult store. So I would just go into the booth, like put in all these movies, and then I gravitated toward him because it was just like some real stuff, whether it was set up or not. To me, I connected with that, and so that's how I started meeting people in Hawaii and actually recreating some of those scenarios and then shooting stuff on the beaches. I mean, we made some crazy stuff, like because I was a political science major, and then how it happened was, I hooked up with the public TV station, and then I was a producer there. So instead of shooting my political science show, I ended up taking the equipment and then going around and shooting porno like on the beaches. Like so funny. So that's how I started. And then jumping on a plane, coming back to LA, because I'm from LA, but I went to school in Hawaii. So coming back there, it was like there was there's cycles that happen in the business. And I kind of like narrowed those down to every 3 years, like something opens up, and then these new people jump in, and then they take off, and everything explodes, and then the cycle repeats itself. So that year, that window opened up, and it was just like my goal was like to do everything, but people tried to put me in scenes, and I didn't necessarily want to be there. So I had this camera everywhere I went, and it was just like, no, fuck that, put that camera down, jump in front of the scene, and you just fuck the girl or whatever. I'm like, now I was already doing this when I was in Hawaii. And the thing that I couldn't separate is that I couldn't be in front of somebody's camera if I felt like they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like as soon as something didn't make sense to me, it's like, what the fuck are you saying? What do you want me to do? That don't make no sense. Because I was used to being in front of it and behind the camera, like directly at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's how the thing came about, where it's like, you can't tell me no based on what's going on. So here's what happened. Like one day there was these dudes and they used to shoot for Elegant. And there was this team named Corey and Dale. It's like two vanilla dudes. And they were making all the so-called black stuff. So they were shooting sugar walls one day. And then, back then they were doing stuff like on a cookie cutter basis, because they were shooting like 5 or 6 scenes a day. They would shoot like whole movies in one day. So he shot like 4 scenes, 5 scenes, whatever, and he got tired. So because I always take my camera everywhere, he was like, DeVoe. I don't even think I was called DeVoe then. James from West Coast called me Ron Gold. So, I named myself Freak Nasty. So I think I was still trying to figure out like who my name was like back then, because I didn't have a stage name. And then he was like, yo, dude, you want to shoot the scene? I was like, yeah, cool. So I shot that scene, and then I was like, because I had already been shooting, like I already knew how to do the angles, like all that type of shit. He was like, oh, that's cool. So he said, you know what? You want to come back and shoot some more stuff? And I said, yeah. So, and then that was a snowball. That's how things happen. So we'd find out, me and Diana, her name was Mercedes when she first came in. And then it changed to China Storm. And then one day I was just like, there was this dude that she had met at a club in Hawaii. And I said, bring the dude home. So we ended up having this threesome. His name was DeVoe. He couldn't do it because he kept looking at me like trying to figure out like what I was doing. I was like, dude, go ahead, like do shit. So when I went through Freak Nasty and Ron Gold, the second shoot I did, the third shoot I did was for Ed Powers. So I don't know if you remember who Ed Powers was. He was like this dude. Ed Powers was huge. So he was just like same thing. Like he would just be shooting 5, 6 girls in a day, whatever. Like he had like his warehouse. And in the back of that, he had like a studio with a bed in it. So he would get like the first crack at the girls because Jim South, like remember Jim South? So Jim South
was my first one.
He had like in his Rolodex. So like Jim South actually had a Rolodex on his desk. And then he had like his preferred people. So if a new girl came in, like he flipped through his Rolodex and he would call up either Randy West, Ed Powers, Jake Steed, or TT Boy. And they would get all the fresh new girls. So Ed Powers had like this conveyor belt shit going on with all these girls. He 5, 6. So Diana got booked to do the scene, and then I'm going there. I got my camera. He's like, yo, do you want to shoot the scene? I was like, okay, cool. So that's kind of like how it started for me. It was just like this snowball effect, like being in the right place at the right time. And when opportunity happened, it was like this thing where it's like, okay, well, they really can't say no to the shit because they're asking me. It's not me asking about that. Because one time it got so ridiculous. It was like we were on this set, and back then they were doing like features. Like everybody had like their big feature, like big budget feature shit they were doing. So we were on the set, and that's what happened. Like when that window opened up in that cycle, like at that point in time, we found ourselves in the mix of everything that big that was going on. So we were on this feature set. Here I am, didn't have the stage name. I don't know if I was Freak Nasty, Ron Gold, whatever. So I got my little camera, and then the dude was like shooting. It was for video team. Remember Christian, man? So it was a video team shoot. And then the guy was shooting, and I said, you know what? Can I shoot? He was like, no. He's like, no, whatever. I said, okay, cool. How about if I shoot over your shoulder and stay out of your way? He was like, okay, well, fuck it. You're not gonna be in my way. Shoot over my shoulder, stay out of my way. So I did that. And at the same time, I was kind of peeping out how they were actually doing the scenes from a commercial point of view, from a pro point of view. That's how I would learn how to do stuff, and then take that and then mix my own flavor to it. And then when the golden opportunity happened, it was James at West Coast. And I forget how that even happened. I do. We got booked together to do booty talk. It was no booty
You and
talk.
Diana.
So we would have these people that were from Hawaii, like whatever, because I still have my pigeon accent. You know, I'm talking, hey, brah, whatever. I get the like, and Diana was the same way because she was born and raised in Hawaii. So we both speaking pigeon, like whatever. And then that's when, you know, things start to happen because she was so exotic and different because the way we branded her. Actually, I created her name first. Wait, no, my name came first, and then as the gimmick, then I said, why don't you just take on this name, and then you become Diana DeVoe, and I'm Alexander DeVoe, and we'll present together like that. Are you following the story?
Yeah, I am. So it's like, damn,
break it down. So it's like when we first come back, it's like, okay, whatever. Her name was China Storm. My name was Freak Nasty. So we went from Freak Nasty to China Storm to Mercedes to me saying, okay, well, we had this threesome. Let me take this motherfucker's name. I'll call myself DeVoe. Alexander DeVoe popped off, and then Diana DeVoe was born. And then here we got these two people presenting together. And then that's when everything opened up and shit took off. So we shot, and then we went back to Hawaii. And in Hawaii, like what the intent was, like, okay, we weren't going to come back.
Y'all wasn't going to come back to the United States?
Nah, we were just going to, you know, come out here to LA, shoot, and then go back home to Hawaii. The thing that changed that was when we went back, Christian Man called, and he said she wanted to sign her to a contract. And she had only done like a handful of stuff. So we said, okay, cool, fuck it. We jumped on a plane, got a place in LA. And then she started doing like all of these box cover shoots. And then I just went on this journey to be like, okay, I don't want to be a performer. Like I was like, when people would ask me to do stuff, like we go together, oh, let's work together. I'm like, nah. And it's like, no, you don't want to do scenes. I'm like, nah. And they couldn't figure that shit out. Like, why don't you want to do scenes? And I was like, well, because I've already done that. Like, you know, I'm already fucking bitches. Like, that's what I said in my mind. That's how I started thinking like that. I'm like, well, I already had sex with women. Like, what would be the point of me doing that to lend myself to your production? And then I said, you know what? I'm just gonna be this real humble type of motherfucker. Like, I'm gonna erase whatever ego that you need in order to do this, and put myself in this space where I'm just gonna absorb everything that's going on, and when opportunities happen, I'll just make the most of those opportunities.
So let me ask you this: were your intentions when you went back? I know you went back because Diana got the contract, but was your thing going back as you to become a director, to be a creator? Was that your intention?
I was already that in the beginning. So when we started, when I started, it was my dream to do that. It was kind of funny because when I was in college, and I was really on this track, like to be an attorney. So, you know, I was fully immersed in that shit. Like I was in the AmeriCorps, which is the Domestic Peace Corps. Like I was volunteering for that. Like I was on moot court, like just really immersed in like political shit, like going to all these debates and all that type of stuff. And then I got recruited to be a futurist. So I actually wrote this paper about creating this colony in Mars, and the professor read this shit, and he just got so blown away by it. Like he just recruited me to be a part of this group, and all they did was talk about like things that are gonna happen. They actually make a lot of money. Like the futurists make a lot of money. Like they just talk about things that are gonna happen. So back then we were talking about shit that's just now taking place today. We were theorizing about stuff back then. So I put all that shit to the side, and I started talking to people when I took a production class, and I fell in love with it. So it was like, you know, taking that class was like, because I always had this creative side, and I was just trying to figure out like how those two were going to come together. So when that class happened, then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to double major. I'm just going to be a political scientist and a communications, like mass communication major. So that's what I did in college. I was political science and communications, and that's what my degree is in. And that kind of carried me through because I was really on a political science side. Like it was a lot of like taking classes like exculpatory writing, like argumentative writing. So I learned how to train my brain to think critically. And then on the creative side, I took a lot of like English classes, like advanced stuff, like a lot of philosophy and writing classes. So I had this background. I had this production background, like coming into it, but at the same time, I knew that, you know, I couldn't come into it and be like this motherfucker was like, oh, I know everything, because I didn't. Like, I didn't know how this shit worked. I didn't know how to stick and move. I was just opening myself up to meeting people and then genuinely be enthralled by, you know, what they had to offer me.
Right.
And on that journey, like, one of the first people that I met, because you know, it's like we all have this moment where, you know, we can recall as we're telling our story, it's just like this one person that stuck out. And the one person that stuck out for me was Julian St. Jacques. Because we found ourselves in all these, like, getting invited to all these little exclusive parties or whatever. And then this year, like, it was in Beverly Hills, and it was, I forget where it was, but everybody was there. Like, people I used to watch, you know, jack off to or whatever, at this party, everybody was there. So I was coming up the stairs, and then at the top of the stairs, you know, like sometimes the motherfuckers be telling the stories like, okay, this motherfucker had a haze around him. Like, he had this fog and shit, like he was glowing at the top of the motherfucking stairs. I mean, it may sound surreal, because I remember Alan Iverson was telling a story about Michael Jordan. And he was like, this motherfucker was Michael Jordan. He had the Jordans on. He had his aura around him. That's how, to me, that's how Julian St. Jacques was. He was just standing on the motherfucking at the landing, like in between the bottom and the top stairs. And this motherfucker was just languishing there, like just he was just like basking in the Julian St. Jacques aura. So I'm walking up the stairs, Julian's sitting there, he just cool or whatever, like, and then you know, I'm about to walk past him, and he just reached out. This motherfucker said 2 words to me. He reached out because I was wearing this fabulous shirt, because that was my thing. Like, I was this motherfucker who had this red hair, like curly red hair, big old bushy top, and I would just wear these wild ass costumes. Like, it was kind of like Prince. I had these high heels. I had these high heels. These motherfuckers was about this big with a buckle on the top of these motherfuckers, about a silver buckle. And then I had this green transparent, like swirly kind of motherfucking shirt on. And as soon as I got close to him, he reached out and he said, he did like this. He looked at me, he said, nice shirt. Motherfucker said 2 words. He said, nice shirt. And then after that, he started to invite me to his like little private little events at his house and stuff. So it's same shit. Like, you know, we go here, it'd be like contract stars and motherfucker, like celebrities. Like, one year we go to this party at his wall. Motherfuckers is like dancing or whatever, like So I'm looking over, I was like, damn, who's this crispy dark black Wesley Snipes looking motherfucker like dancing in the corner? So I go over there and it's Wesley Snipes up in the motherfucker. Even that dude, like, remember the car chase with OJ and the motherfucker, the sidekick?
Yeah.
Al Collins?
Yeah, Al Collins, I think, yeah.
Al Collins was at one of these parties, just dancing his ass off. I was just like, yo, what the fuck? Like, everybody just is in this motherfucker. So me and him became cool. Like, me and Julie became cool. So he was like one of my good dudes. Like, he gave me a lot of, like, Julian, he was like one of those people, like, and I'm the same type of person. Like, I don't mind pouring stuff into people, because, you know, the more you pour into people, the more you can sometimes affect how they grow and how they experience stuff. And for me, because me and Diana came at the same time, we were always of the mindset that, you know, if we can help somebody have a positive experience in the business, then that's what I'm going to instill on somebody, because that's how it happened for me when I started meeting these people that are reaching their hands out and saying, okay, cool. I'm going to show you how you can be successful in this.
That's good to hear. Now, okay, so because you can sit here and tell stories all day long, like all day long.
We both
all day long. But let me ask you this, because we did talk about you talking about possibly coming back. So I know you within, wait. So within you was speaking and you were saying how so many different things has at one moment something was hot and then it changed over and then something, you know, else is hot. For you being such the professional and you kind of know what you want and what you see, for you on what the industry is now, what would you want it to be? What do you think it needs to be to grow?
The industry needs to get back to its core of what is most important. And the most important thing is to maintain its sense of professionalism.
Mm-hmm.
And the way things are happening, because there's such a
Free fall.
collision of these people who are labeling themselves as content creators, which are basically, without being self-aware, in the OnlyFans hierarchy, like you have at the top of the OnlyFans hierarchy, they have a whole network of shows that they're putting in the forefront, and people who are making adult content are relegated to the bottom without even knowing it, And I had to educate myself about what the content creators were all about, because I found myself jumping into these spaces and just listening and interacting with them. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of the primary motivation is money. And the difference between being a content creator on the adult side, making explicit content, is that on the commercial side, the motivation is not money. The motivation is something higher than that. Yeah, you can achieve a certain status, and you by default, that money goes with that, but it's not part of the conversation. Mm-hmm. It's almost like, there is differences, and it just like in other parts of the society, there are class systems. There are different classes within that structure. And that's what people don't understand, is that when you have the OnlyFans effect, basically that's what it was. It was like a nuclear bomb, which is poison being dropped on people and turning everybody into a creator, and everybody doesn't need to be a creator. Mm-hmm. And you can't expect that people are going to jump into something and the net result of that is pure profit. That's not a realistic expectation in any business that you find yourself in. Because definitely for me, like, creating a product to push to the consumer, and for me, everything was consumer driven. If they didn't want it, I'm not gonna make it, because I knew if I spent my money, then I have three scenarios. I'm either gonna make a profit, break even, or lose. Mm-hmm. And everything that I go in, and knowing that, being a smart business person, then you don't have the expectation that I want to jump into something that I have absolutely no knowledge of and be able to be successful without having knowledge of that, because you don't know how to scale that. So I see a convergence right now where the people who reach a certain level in the content creator world are wanting to step over, but still bring the same type of mentality to regular commercial adult, and it doesn't work like that. Those are totally two different animals. It's two different business models. It's two different structures. Can there be a happy medium between the two of those? Yes, but it will take people like us who are vested in order to make sure that those things that are negative and bad associated with being called a content creator, that they don't find themselves relishing in the regular commercial world, because it's all about I want to be a star.
Right.
I'm about to make this money, because anytime you put money as the primary motivation for what it is that you want to do, especially when it comes to making explicit content, it's not the place for you to be. Mm-hmm. And then, just like any other form of entertainment, there's going to be people who desire to make it, but they don't and can't and should not.
Okay, so I hear everything that you're saying. I do. So how can you take it back to take it to where it's an artistry, or even it's education? Because when you talk about
me, because I'm not done. Like, and what I had to do is, like, not even speaking about the stuff that came before that, but right now it's for me to be who I am. Mm-hmm. and that is to finish the journey. So finishing the journey is putting out Black Angel Studios, and then just letting that languish on the market. And then if I'm not around, then that's going to keep going on, because it's inevitable that it happens, and I'm obligated to do that, because if I don't, I'm not being me.
I got it. Okay. Well, all right.
That being said, I got to get this kid. She's knocking on the door like, Dad, come on.
Well, let me say this. Thank you so much. And we're going to have you on again. We're going to get you here to Vegas. We're going to get you in Vegas.
Like, I'm jumping in and it's just get juicy. And then I got to take her to her. She's doing a fashion show tomorrow. So, y'all.
Okay. All right. So, this is what I want to do. Mike, you got any real quick things, something to say to the vote?
I'm good.
You good?
Yeah.
You good? You know, Mike been
You gotta go. You gotta go.
You gotta go. All right. Well, I love you, baby. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We're gonna have you back on here soon. And
Definitely have me back.
Yeah,
definitely. Like bring me back because you know how we do it. We jump into it and then we get started and it gets juicy and then
because right now we almost the show almost finished. Like seriously, like we didn't open it up for no calls or nothing. You know,
because she keeps knocking on the door. So
go back. All right. Well, thank you, baby. Thank you.
No, thank you. And Dog Pound Mike.
Okay, we'll see you soon.
All right, bye-bye. All right, this your girl, you guys, Nyomi Banks here on Ask Nyomi Bridging the Gap podcast. That was the multi-award winning director, entrepreneur, and as you see, creative director, Mr. Alexander DeVoe. He had to leave us. I'm just glad that he was able to give us this short window of time, but it felt like so long.
Yeah,
you know, because DeVoe, he can talk. He like literally, he can truly talk, and we can truly be on this show for hours, just talking, catching up, and some of the craziest conversation comes out of these things. But they be crazy, but they be real, and they be so authentic and real. So it's cool. But I want to thank, and I know I wanted to do some more things, but let me tell you this: prepare next week. Next week, you don't want to miss it. Next week, we're gonna have the sexy. Let me tell you, iconic. She probably one of my favorites. One of my favorites to work with, Miss Jada Fire, will be in the place next week. When I told y'all that March was going to be it, March was going to be it. I told y'all. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna come back, and then we're gonna close it out. All right. It's your girl D Goddess, Nyomi Banks here on Ask Nyomi Bridging the Gap podcast.
Hey, this is Dog Pound Mike from Ask Nyomi Bridging the Gap podcast. Come check us out every week. And remember, I'm no relationship expert. I just tell it like I hear it from the kennel. Get back at it.
Hey, my sexy people, it's your girl, the Goddess Nyomi Banks. And I finally did it. I've written my first book. Well, actually, it's a living journal. It's called Good Morning, My Sexy People, where I share my stories in different posts, but help a healing workbook for you. So it's 90 days to kick off your healing living journey. Pre-purchase now. Go to AskNyomi.com and hit shop. Listen.
All right, it's your girl, D Goddess Nyomi Banks, and welcome back to Ask Nyomi Bridging the Gap podcast. I'm here with my boy, Dog Pound Mike. Mike, what's going on, baby?
It's all good. We're hitting on DeVoe stories. Can't wait till you get out in the studio.
But you know what? So I don't know why. I have to find the video. I have to find the audio of him when he first came on the show. When he first came on as a guest on the show. And let me tell you guys something. When he first came on, because when he was describing certain things, it's like when we used to direct me, we had this different conversation. He'd always be talking about the vagina. Like, and like he knew all the anatomy of it and all of those things. So I used to jokingly call him Mr. Pussology.
Pussologist.
Yes, Mr. Pussologist. And he was like, I don't like that name. I'm like, why? Because everything that you know about, you're a director. You know what I'm saying? You got that camera there. This is something that you do. This is something that you know. Mm-hmm. But when he came on the show, and the chemistry was like that with the three of us. It was just like bam, bam, bam. But when he shared that show with in the cup at the bottom, I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute. But he did. He said that it was in a refrigerator. So let me tell you this, because I did start a Patreon thing. And I'm going to, it's going to go live next month. It's not going live this month. It's going to go live next month because I got some old chocolate radio episodes and stuff that will be in there. So we can see some of that. You can hear some of those shows there that never made it here on YouTube or anywhere else. Mm-hmm. That we have it there. So you guys will be able to, as well as some other exclusive content as well. I hope you guys took a look at the new website. We got a lot of new things that's going on there, as well as Elevate Me, discovering self-discovery. And, here at Ask Nyomi Bridging the Gap is why I created this. Is not only for me to, interview some of my friends from the industry, but to interview, you know, everybody from all walks of life, as well as share my story on how I, you know, has transitioned and grew into everything that I am today. You know, the one thing is biggest purpose in my life is to serve others, meaning that we have to make this world a better place, not only for myself, but for others. But also we need to share our stories because it might affect someone in a positive way. Somebody can be able to relate to you, you know, because that's something that you're going through. And like I mentioned before, we have some really, really hot guests. We have Jada Fire, we had Miss Vanessa Safel, we got the Supreme Diva herself, and we also have one of my friends, one of my good girlfriends, and she's not in the adult industry. She's more of a mainstream actress and model entrepreneur. I've known her for over 20 years. She is doing her thing, Miss Yvette Dizelle. So make sure you guys tune in every week right here live, right here on YouTube, as well as we do a recap or we play it on podcasts on iHeartRadio. So make sure you do that. So our new slogan for this year is tell a friend to Ask Naomi. It's your girl, the goddess Nyomi Banks here on Ask Naomi Bridging the Gap. As I always say, always keep it sexy. Be good to one another and yourselves. Good night.
Hey, it's the goddess Naomi Banks, and I hope you enjoyed that last episode of Ask Naomi Bridging the Gap. And if you did, please like, subscribe, press that notification button, as well as comment. I'll see you next week. Keep it sexy.
Ask Naomi Bridging the Gap. This is where we talk about love, sex,